This week on Nobody's Home, we're throwing out the old playbook. We're writing some new X's and O's. We're coming up with a new game plan. Let's talk about it.
Check it out.
Okay, J.A.
Welcome back to another episode of Nobody's Home on the Cheap Seats Network. My name's Chase Brown, and I'm here with my co-host, Evan Boffman. How are you doing today, man?
Chase, once again, I'm doing great, and today I'm here to talk about one of my childhood favorite movies, The Game Plan.
The Game Plan, yeah. When you selected this movie to watch, I was excited about it because I haven't seen this movie in a very long time, it feels like. And when I went back and watched it, I could definitely tell that there were some blind spots and some things I forgot. So I'm excited to go over it with you today. But before we get there, Evan, where can those beautiful people out there find us?
Listen, guys, we say it every week, but you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can find us. You want the video version? Check us out on YouTube. And please, guys, please like, comment, subscribe, rate us 5 stars, share us with your friends, just go 1 or 2 people on the street, even just, hey, this is a good podcast. You should listen to it. You like movies? You like funny people? These guys are funny guys. Well, hopefully we're trying.
That's what I do when I'm walking on the street. I usually walk up to people and I say, hey, these guys are funny guys. You're going to want to check them out.
How many times has someone asked you to listen to a podcast? Legitimately, how many times?
Lots of times.
People are used to it now, guys. Just go ask them if they want to check out this podcast of yours. It's easy. It's easy. Please. We love you guys. Thank you.
All right, guys, and that's what we're going to do. That's what you can do to help us out. But today, we're going to get into this review of The Game Plan, directed by Andy Fickman, came out in September of 2007. It stars Dwayne Johnson, I think credited at the time as Dwayne The Rock Johnson. We were still carrying around The Rock. Madison Pettis is in it. Brian White is in this, and we've seen him before in a couple movies of ours, Morris Chestnut. So it's a good movie with a lot of people in it. Evan, what is the movie about?
Hey, man, this movie is about bachelor football star Joe Kingman. Seems to have it all, right? He's wealthy, carefree, and his team is on the way to capturing a championship. Suddenly, he is tackled by some unexpected news. He's got a young daughter. This was the result from his ex-wife. Joe must learn how to balance his personal and professional lives with the needs of this new child.
Yes. So like My Spy, as we watched last week, and go check out that review now.
Yes.
We're getting into another, genre movie. Like that was action. This is sports, but we're adding the family element to it, which, there's plenty of room for ruses and jokes and hijinks and things like that. So, Evan, like you said, this is one of your childhood favorites.
Yes.
Do you remember seeing this for the first time or around the first time you saw it?
Yeah, I just remember that the premise always interested me because I remember I obviously knew who Dwayne Johnson was, The Rock, being a wrestling fan at the time. And I knew Madison Pettis from Corey in the House. And it hit me at that perfect zeitgeist, I guess, where the cross section of Disney and wrestling. Right. And it was about football. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And I just remember thinking it was like really funny and just an actual like fun little thrill ride. And going back on it now, older, I can see why I thought that, man. I thought I got a lot of humor out of this. I thought genuinely, looking back in the career of The Rock, this came pretty early before The Rock was like The Rock in Hollywood. I think this was one of the performances that probably did it good for him because this was a big movie. This was Disney. Oh, yeah. Disney all over this freaking movie, man. They played Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, like Disney plugging things everywhere. But this was a
ESPN.
ESPN was on there multiple times. And I think this movie for The Rock really showed people that he could go away from being that huge, big wrestling guy and more of like a family-friendly movie star. And I think he portrayed his character excellently in this movie.
Yeah, well said, man. And absolutely right about how successful this movie was. It had a budget of around $22 million, and it raked in over 120 million. So I mean, they did exactly what they needed to do in the box office, and that's really good for movies like this, and especially for The Rock, who, you're right, this was earlier in the game for him when he was getting things started with his acting career. So I really didn't remember so much about the movie going back into it. So this rewatch was good for me. Before I started it, I had realized that Andy Fickman also directed one of my favorite sports comedies, She's the Man.
Yeah.
Big fan of Amanda Bynes over here. Please don't disrespect Amanda Bynes in the comment section or otherwise, because I will personally come after you. I really enjoy that movie. He's directed, we talked about every episode he directed of Kevin Can Wait. He directed Paul Blart Mall Cop too. So he definitely has these, comedic elements to him. And I think this is the year after She's the Man. So these movies were made pretty close to each other. But yeah, I didn't remember much of the movie. It definitely surprised me. First, how long it was. I didn't realize the length of the movie, the twists and turns. I guess we'll kind of get to that later of the movie too. And just the dynamic between Madison Pettis and Dwayne Johnson. It was pretty flawless. I mean, you don't all the time get these, like, you have your movies with your, I put it on a like Adam Sandler and also Disney stars Jill Nicole Sprouse and a Big Daddy. Like just the connection and the chemistry is really there. And I think we saw a lot of that in this movie.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. And that's really what sells you on this film, is that chemistry between Madison Pettis and Dwayne Johnson. And it's a natural relationship. You see like the chemistry right off the bat, even when Joe Kingman is like, who the heck is this girl? His agent is in play. And that's like a realistic situation, right? You would question this person showing up at your doorstep.
Sure.
But then slowly but surely he seems to soften up, and he seems to really change as a man. And you see he not only successful in his professional career in this film, but ending up being that much closer with his daughter as well.
Yeah, and I think that they played with those elements in the movie really well. They did the thing in this movie, and they do it in a lot of movies, where they do the long opening of like the character that we don't see, but we see the things around him, like we don't see his face until the end of the opening credits, and they kind of put him in that position here. We see that he's kind of this like selfish guy. Even he doesn't, like he's not even he's selfish. Not only what we see with his daughter later on as he meets her, but on the field too.
Yes.
We see him, in that sense. So, I mean, they definitely set it up well for a children's movie. And every time I watch a movie like this, I'm not watching it with this like, large film sense maybe, but just like as, kids watching this movie, does this movie does this movie still work right now? Would this movie hold up, even though it's only like 13 or so years later? But I think all those things are true, and I think all those things apply here. I think it's really a testament to, like we said, I think Andy Fickman's directing, which it's a really clean movie. There's not much you can really like. I think it's a while I was watching, I was thinking this is just a good, nice looking movie. It's very easy to watch. There's not too much going on. It's pretty neatly put. Things of that nature. The chemistry with all the characters, teammates, things like that. I thought it was a really solid effort all around.
No, I couldn't agree more again, man. And I thought that the direction, and like you said, it was just very nicely. They didn't try to do too much with the direction of the film. It was just very nicely put on screen. It was an easy watch. The time really flew by to me.
Yeah.
There was only about one time where I thought like, oh, wow, it was right towards the end. So if I had any critique, I'd cut off like maybe 15, 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
But that's about it. And I think the direction is very, very, very good. And I think just they have little subplots, like you said, with that parallel between his career and the relationship with his daughter, and how I love that relationship he and Sanders had, who actually, you mentioned him in the opening, was Morris Chestnut played him. And I thought that was just a very, very like cool relationship to see, is like he gains more respect for him as he has a daughter and watches him grow like he does with his family. And then, who did he throw the game-winning touchdown pass to?
Right, exactly. So I completely forgot that Morris Chestnut was in this movie too.
Yeah.
So just as a fan of him and all the work he's done, it was cool to see him in that role too.
Yeah.
When the movie got, I realized the length of the movie was when Rosalind Sanchez, they had her in the movie.
Yeah.
Whenever they started that part of it with like the love interest thing, I was like, oh, I forgot there was a love interest in this
Yeah.
movie.
There's a lot.
There's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. And that
Yeah.
was like the halfway mark. So yeah, but I think that I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as I anticipated going back into it,
Yeah.
but I think all of those things still hold true. Just how good the movie was. I think for children, I think this movie is really good, and I think that length will not necessarily bog too many people over head, because I think most kids movies are like I think safely placed at like a little over an hour and a half, or like right around that mark. But I think they did well here, man.
Yeah, and I would love you mentioned earlier the twist in the film.
Yeah.
And if anyone doesn't want to know the big twist, this would be the point to kind of cut off. But I'll introduce it, and then I'd love to get your thoughts on it.
Sure.
So it turns out that the ex-wife that he had the child with, Joe Kingman, and would be Peyton's mother in this sense, Peyton had been saying she was in Africa and her aunt had passed away. It turns out that her aunt was in Africa and her mother had passed away 6 months prior.
Right.
And that was a pretty deep cut thing to have in this movie, I thought. So what did you think?
I thought so too, man. I was really like I said, I completely forgot about the twist. So I imagine it was like people watching The Empire Strikes Back for the first time, and finding out that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. But no, man. But seriously, I really think that it was a good kind of jab to put in there, because it wasn't something that I was expecting at all. Yeah. I completely forgot about it, even to the point when we were like at the end of the movie and she was back in the hospital and she was talking to him. I still hadn't remembered. So I'm like, why is he giving her like a look? And then it all comes together. And I'm like, oh, that's a good, nice twist. I mean, it's very sad, yes. Like dying in a car accident was like 6 months prior, I think. Yeah. So, it hits you really hard. And then especially with the added, she's in the room and she's hearing the agent talking about her being a burden and all that. It was a really, really heartfelt kind of moment there. And really, but I think that Disney always does those things really well. Yeah. You can look at a lot of the animated stuff they do, obviously, but the live action stuff too, like Pacifier, where they have those moments that do that thing. So yeah, I think I really love the twist. But you remember the twist?
Yeah, I did. I did remember. I didn't remember going in, but as soon as she mentioned her mom, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember now. So okay. And I would say to anybody who ever questions The Rock's ability as not only an actor but a performer, check out the scene where he sings Elvis to her at the end. Legit.
Yeah, absolutely. No, good call.
Yeah, that was a great. I thought that was a very touching scene. I don't know why I thought that was so sweet.
But. No, good call. I felt the same way. I was like, this is like. I was like, does Rock play guitar? I was like, does Rock like sing? Does Rock this is really cute. I like this a lot. Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. Yeah, absolutely.
So on that note, what are you giving the game plan, Chase?
What am I going to give the game plan, man? I've been thinking about this. I think I have to give it I think I want to give it a 2.5 out of 5. But I'm also leaning towards like a 2. Okay. But I think I'm going to give it a 2.5 because I gave Meet the Fockers a 2.5 recently, 2.5 seats. So I think it's on par with that. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5 seats.
Okay, and Chase, we have some incredible news here. This is our first disagreement here on Nobody's Home for this review. I'm giving the game plan 3.5 out of 5 seats.
Oh wow! All right, very good.
I think this is genuinely just an above average family movie.
Okay.
It would be something that if in the future I have any a son, a daughter, any kid at all, any form of that, I would gladly show this to them and think that they would have a good time watching it. Yeah, so I think I'm going to give this one 3.5 out of 5.
All right, very good. Hey, we're different, man. This is first time, but it's got to happen. Good, man. Awesome.
we're good friends, but we can disagree, and we can just hate each other a little bit more because of it.
Yeah, it'll always build up a little bit of tension between
of
us.
course, of course. That's good. That's good for the viewership, though. That's good for the dynamic.
The game plan might be the straw that broke the camel's back. I do want to ask you one more question, though, before we get out of here.
Yeah.
The ending of this movie had one of my favorite things that you see at the end of movies. And that is when the cast is just singing a song.
Yeah.
Because for whatever purposes. I think that they do that. I think one of my favorite examples of that is Shrek 2.
Yeah.
Do you, off the top of your head, do you have a favorite example of that?
Oh gosh, that's a great question, and I don't think I do.
There's like I know they do it, and there's something about Mary. They do Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. I think they do in the first Shrek 2 as well. I think they both do at least the first
Shrek
two.
one. I do remember the Shrek one now. And,
yes.
They had to do. Did they do
School of Rock?
School of Rock did that. Yes, I do remember that now.
A good one.
That's a great question, but I was thinking that, like, as I was watching those credits, I was like, they do this a lot. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it was funny because I think that shows you a little bit more of the set dynamic, which I think is cool.
Right.
Because like all the actors it wasn't like just The Rock,
right,
the main guys. It was everybody. Like I know like, the coach was in a lot of it. I was like, wow, he has a big personality. I didn't see it a lot, but it's cool to see that part. So no, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
40-Year-Old Virgin's another one.
40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah. We'll open with that next week, man.
I'll look some up
next week.
I'll do some research.
But what are we watching next week, Evan?
You know what, Chase? This is a good one, and I think people are going to be excited about this. We are going to watch Rocky 3, starring the Hulk Hogan as Thunder Lips. And I'm very excited for this. Yes.
Well, I'm excited too. I love the Rocky franchise. The first Rocky film is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love Rocky. I love the franchise. I love the first movie. I love all of them, really. But I am excited to watch this. And also, we've gotten a little more news about Chris Hemsworth playing Hulk Hogan in the upcoming Hulk Hogan biopic. So we'll have to talk about that next week too, as we review Rocky 3. But thanks for watching along, guys. Evan, we said it at the top of the show, but let's say it at the end of the show too, just to get it in their heads a second time.
Yes, please, guys. Please. Like, rate, comment, subscribe, share us with your friends, with your family, with random people on the street, with animals in your yard. I don't care. We don't care. We just want to reach more people, have some more fun with some more friends. Thanks, guys. We love you. And the Game Plan, good movie. Check it out.
Check out the Game Plan and check out any of our other reviews on the Cheap Seats Network. If you guys would like to suggest a review for us to do, just leave a comment down below. It'd be a good time for us. And this upcoming Thursday, make sure you check out our top 10 wrestlers of all time.
Yes, a good one.
Evan, myself, and are joined by Josh Mosley to talk about our favorite wrestlers of all time. That's coming out this Thursday. Make sure you watch it. It's a good one, I promise you.
Yes, it's going to be a great one. Please watch it. A lot of content there.
And if you're looking for somewhere to go, join us in the cheap seats. There's plenty of room. Have a good one, everybody.